Okay, today we're going to look at a ship that's pretty good right now, actually. The Flint is a ship that's been in the game for a long time. It was a ranked reward ship, but now is able to be purchased for coal now, I believe. It was for steel a little while ago. And it's a good ship right now. Once the captain's skill changes come through, it's going to be a really tough ship to play. And the reason is the range is being nerfed. Currently it's 13.3 kilometers of range, and in the captain changes it's going to be 11.1 kilometers. And as a tier 7 ship in the current matchmaking meta, you're just always going to be facing tier 9s. This is part of the reason I don't play tier 7s very much anymore. But we decided to play one, and surprise, surprise, we got into tier 9 with Musashi's on the enemy team, which, let's be honest, that's a tier 10 ship. So, yeah, this ship is a good ship right now, but its matchmaker is horrible. And because the range specifically is being nerfed next patch, in patch 10, it's going to be a really, really difficult ship to play. As you can see, I'm trying to use islands to spam over. This is what Atlanta and Flint both do extremely well. I'm sure most of you know that these ships get destroyer guns, and a lot of them, so that's why the arcs are so insane, and the reload is pretty quick. Special things about the Flint compared to the Atlanta, if you don't know, you get a smokescreen, an American smokescreen, so it lasts forever. And you also get essentially some Benson torps, I believe. So, yeah. The torps are better, it's got a smoke screen, but you don't get radar, and you get one less turret per side. You don't get that weird, awkwardly mounted side turret. So, slightly worse DPM, but you get a smoke screen, which is super duper handy. So, this ship is mostly, though, about island usage. So that's why I came to this little corner here. I can shoot over this, and these battleships won't be able to hit my citadel over these islands. So, pretty basic HE spammer type of gameplay here. Nothing too special, but the ship itself is going to be a lot worse come the next patch, because there's no way I'm going to be hitting that Jean Bart at all in the new patch. And, in fact, there wouldn't really be much in range of me right now. There's the York that's just sitting on the island, and, you know, we obviously can't go out there, but 11.1 kilometers of range in tier 9 battles. That's just crazy. I could see it if you said Flint gets improved matchmaker. Like, I know I've never played World of Tanks, but if I heard that there are some premiums that get matchmaker that's only goes to +1 instead of +2. So if Flint got that kind of matchmaker, I could see this change, because then it'd be like a really good close range ship. That DD would be out of our range. I'm going to point this out a lot. There's a lot of things where having this range is incredibly useful. Now here, obviously, we could just shoot this guy and it'd be fine. But there's a lot of scenarios where you just need the range. And I'm playing relatively aggressively here for my ship. Most ships, like, are playing super far back these days. I don't know if you've noticed that, but it seems like people just kind of want to sit in the spawn. So, ships like Musashi right now, I can't even access. It's just so far away. So, it's a little disappointing that they're gonna hit this ship so hard. At least they're making the Atlanta have 13.3 kilometers of range base now. The change is that they're removing AFT from cruisers. And AFT gives you 20% increased range for ships that have small caliber guns. I think it's below 139 millimeters, which these are 127 millimeters, so we get that improved range. And it's basically necessary on a ship like this. So it's just a little disappointing to see them so heavily changing a ship along with all the captain skills. I can understand them maybe wanting to nerf things, because let's be honest, Flint is a better ship than Atlanta. Having a smokescreen is way more beneficial for a lightly armored ship like this with very little range and very floaty guns than a radar. it gives you the ability to play aggressively on all maps, not just maps with good island cover like this one. So I could see them maybe wanting to nerf this ship, but it's a little weird to me that they would want to have these big drastic changes to the commander skills and not even see how those impact the ships in their somewhat base configurations, where, you know, Atlanta at least gets its range back. I just can't believe that you're changing so much about the game, and then you're also changing some of the default ship parameters of these ships, because I assume AFT is basically a default choice for Flint and Atlanta. I just don't see the point in changing so much about a ship along with the captain skill changes. It just seems like too much, right? It's just too big of a change. So we'll see how it goes. I'll be trying to play this ship come the new captain changes. We'll see what it's like with its 11 kilometers of range. I'll try and make it work, but it's going to be a really, really, really difficult ship to play. As you can see, we're just trying to use island cover against this York. The really, really nice thing is even little islands like this can help you out. You see the York hit the island many times there. Even that little one right in front of me. So we actually haven't used smoke yet, which is interesting. I think generally you want to use smokes in earlier game if you're playing this ship. I got fortunate enough to have a really good, strong island to start with, and the enemy team has kind of been around this island a lot of the game, so I haven't really needed to use smoke. But if you're thinking about using smoke, try to use it early game as much as you possibly can, because it'll keep you alive till later game, and high DPM cruisers are always more dangerous late game than they are early game. When there's less battleships to worry about, when there's less massive alpha strike threats to worry about, and positioning is a lot easier late game, that's when it's okay to not necessarily have a smoke screen. But early game, you should use your smoke to keep yourself alive if you're on a map that isn't very helpful for close range HE spam kind of islands like this one is. But you can see the smoke lasts forever, right? We got like a 2-minute smoke here, and our smoke cooldown is like 20 seconds off where our or 30 seconds off where our smoke timer is. So you actually only have around 10 seconds of downtime between smoke screens, which is crazy for a ship that has this kind of gun power. It's unlikely you're going to get those games where everybody just pushes into you all the time, but you can see how difficult it is to hit things at longer ranges. How much lead I have to take for a Georgia, for example. It's strange to me that they would want to take the range down. I guess it'll maybe help in some weird way where your concealment bloom when you're shooting your guns is only 11 kilometers, but I really do think that this is not a good thing to change the captain skills and to nerf the range on the Flint at the same time. It's a really, really weird change to me, like I said, but we're gonna have to live with it. I think Atlanta at least will be playable. It's still rough into tier 9s where for the most part you're not penning the shells you land on most ships. You have DD guns after all, so you gotta hit superstructures is essentially what it comes down to. Of course, this is what this ship is made for, is these incredibly close range fights with DDs. It just does so much damage. But you can see how late game, there's a lot more freedom to move around. And they even still have like 3 battleships left, but hypothetically, if I had gone through all my smokes at this point, it's okay, because there's just less for me to worry about when I'm moving around. So playing Flint and playing any smoke cruiser, for example, is all about using your smokes intelligently, but also pretty liberally. You should just try to live as long as you can while dealing some pretty good damage early game. You shouldn't be YOLOing. You shouldn't be trying to get into the action as fast as you can possibly get in there. Cruisers are definitely at their strongest late game, I think. And that's when they're, like, as a battleship player, that's when they're the most frustrating to deal with, is when it is late game. And there's a cruiser with a lot of health, and he can just burn me down, that kind of thing. So I like the Flint. I don't play it very much because I don't play tier 7s very much. I don't enjoy facing tier 9s in my tier 7s all the time, but this is a good ship. Atlanta's fun to meme around in as well, and I'll probably still play Atlanta. It's very unlikely I'll play Flint with 11 kilometers of range, but what I'm going to do with this one, I think we'll play a live game here after this one. This one's basically wrapped up, just to give you a more realistic example of what this ship can do. This is a very good game, I would say. Not a cherry-picked one. It's not like I went out and decided to play a bunch of Flint games. This is just the one Flint game I've played in the last like month or so. But I would like to maybe show another one. Maybe we'll get a little more realistic view of what this ship is. A lot of things went right this game, I would say. So let's hop into that. Okay, here we are with the live game. And it's tier 9. What a surprise. See, and it's an open maps. This is good. So I'm gonna need to use my smokes very often here to actually do anything. This is actually really bad because we don't have a DD up north. And there's CVs in the game. I don't know if I can play here. Yeah, I honestly can't play north. So, the thing is, I normally would say go to the side you spawn at, but I will be useless here. Because I have no range to hit anything that's going to be here. And I have no ability to actually... Yeah, I don't have any ability to impact this side of the map. The only thing I can do is go here, take this position here at C10, and then shoot things up here. But that's not very realistic, I don't think. Because that's like hard committing to that side. And that's like not something I'm gonna do. Especially without a DD. So we're just gonna play mid and try and support our team. That's the plan. Unfortunately, you can't let me just turn this down a little bit. You can't always play every side of the map in your bottom tier cruiser with no range. If I had even like 15 kilometers of range in like, let's say I was playing a Shores or something like that at tier 7, or an Indianapolis or something like that, New Orleans, I would still be here probably. I would probably be trying to back in here like this. But you can see their team is all going to the north. We'll shoot at this, especially because we have a smoke. Gotta lead them a bit better. So, the plan is... Wow, I just got hit because they were shooting at this guy. That's so sad. So the plan is that these two are going to get crushed by all our battleships going here. And their whole team looks like they want to go this way. So I'm going to do something maybe dumb and hop into this Benson smoke. We're lit by probably the Benson out here. It's likely. Big shot at. By who? York. Okay, that's fine. Might hurt a little bit, but it's probably fine. So, we're just going to spend some time in the Benson smoke. Just chilling. Not doing anything fancy. And we're going to wait. Oh, his smoke's almost out. That's actually really too bad. We'll help with the cap. And then I think we might make a play for this island here. Especially if our Benson comes north with us. We are lit. Benson's back in the cap. This is a sketchy play here. This is all or nothing. But I mean, we have to kind of be thoughtful about what our options are. And realistically, if we just follow our team, we're going to get 0 damage. There's an Alaska there too. Sketchy. I actually probably die here if I stay in this position. I don't like going here now. Eh, screw it. We have smokes and stuff. We can be annoying to the enemy team for sure. And we got some pretty solid torps actually, so do have to keep that in mind. This York is gonna die. You see, we're gonna use our smoke, so we can just sit here. These guns are good when you hit like they hit a lot of shells if you can aim, which is really nice. Okay. Got to keep in mind our smoke fire range, which is 4.6. So John Bard is kind of just YOLO charging, but there's not much to stop him from charging. See, tier 9 gets you games like this, where there's really not much you can do. Yeah, I think I misplayed by going to this island. I guess I thought my team would be a little more useful. I don't know what I hoped. I hoped I would get spotting, basically. I was hoping for spotting for things like over this island. That's what I was hoping for. But that's not going to happen. John Bart and Georgia there. Holy crap. We're going to make a risky play. Again. And get our torps off. So our smoke screen should hide us if they pop out there. Oh no. We'll stop to hopefully juke it. Juke most of it. He'll have radar. Probably. Pop our AA. Torps look good for the Jean Bart. Got him with one. I don't know how we're not getting radared at the moment, but I'll take it. There it is. Man, that sucks. My whole team went to A. I tried to make a play. Didn't work out, and Alaska got a perfect hit on me. Sometimes, like, there's a little bit of hope for something to overpen you because you're such a, like, skinny ship. Yeah, I'm not going to complain about it too much, but I overpen these ships a lot. And are we going to get some torps on the Jean Bart? It looks like we are. Probably one. Take one. No flood, though. That's brutal. Yeah, so games like this, I should have just gone with my team, man. I could have sat on an island like this and farmed these guys as they came in. That's what I should have done, but I got impatient. Still 60k. Not a bad game. But yeah, when you play a mid-tier ship and you get into high-tier games, it's so unfun because mid-tier is all about, like, well, close to mid-range, and high-tier is all about 20 kilometers right now. You need like 15 to 20 kilometers of range to do anything in high-tier games. And it's really, really sad. If you want to skip ahead to the captain build that I use on my Flint and Atlanta, you can. But this is going to be a small little rant about how terrible the game is right now. And the big problem I find is Wargaming has created a system where higher tier ships have so much range and so much firepower, and they're so accurate at those ranges, and because high explosive is so effective, you actually have a system where it's best to play at the back of the map. And that's really sad, because for ships that are tier 7, a lot of them are good at 10 kilometers, maybe out to 15 kilometers. So then you get into these games with when you're against tier 9s, and it's just horrible. A tier 8 ship, generally, is good in the 15 to 18 kilometer range, and that can work in a tier 10 game. I find tier 8 versus tier 10 is more okay than tier 7 versus tier 9s are. It's pretty sad these days. I should have recognized the lemming train that happened this game, but oh well. That's what happens. It's just sad to me that this game has become such a camp fest. I don't know what else to call it, man. And these new captain skills are just reinforcing that, because every battleship is going to take Deadeye and concealment, and they're all going to play outside their concealment range, so they get that 10% buff. All these cruisers are going to take these long range skills as well. Destroyers too, with our gunboat builds. It's just going to be long range playstyles, and Flint is getting a range nerf. So if you have this ship and you haven't played it, or you play it a lot, enjoy it while you still can. I think this ship is going to be really bad come the next patch. You see how I had to play, or how I did play, because I had such bad range, right? I spent like a long time, I don't even know how long it was, but a long time just trying to figure out where I was going to play on this map. It doesn't help that this map is pretty bad as far as balance goes. It's designed around the fact that you have range. If you're in a position like this, you need range to hit positions up here, which is like 17 kilometers. You need 17, 18 kilometers of range on a map like this, and then you can play it. But if you have less than that, then you're stuck either hard committing up to this island or these islands down here, or you try and play a little bit in the middle and wait for the enemy team to all push to one side, like I did. It's just shocking how poorly designed this map is, and that tier 7s can play on this map. I don't know. I just it's shocking how little Wargaming thinks about this game and the decisions that they make. It's really surprising to me. But I don't know. I can't change it. If I could, obviously I would change it so that at the bare minimum, I would change the game to be +1, -1 matchmaker. Games are found so fast these days, especially during the daytime, that you could easily do +1, -1 matchmaker and have people wait like 30 seconds. I don't think that would be an issue at all. I don't know why they won't do that. It's strange to me. There's a lot of things that don't make sense from Wargaming's perspective, or from my perspective on what Wargaming does. It's really weird to me. And before you say, oh, it's not about Wargaming creating a good game, it's all about them making money. And to that, I would say, wouldn't a good game entice more people to play it for longer and therefore make them more money? It's a long run approach versus a short run approach. And I think Wargaming is all about making money in the short term. And it's really sad. It's really sad, because changes like this captain skill update is going to make the game so much less fun to play, because everybody's just going to sit at the back. Even more than they already do. Look at this lion, or Leon. Up in the enemy spawn, dude. Our Georgia sat at the back a little bit. This Iowa sat at the back, and eventually died. But it's sad. Sad days. But let's hop into the captain build. Okay, so the captain build for the Flint that I use right now looks like this. I actually haven't looked at it in a long time, but it seems pretty reasonable to me, based on what's here. I think preventive maintenance is pretty big for a ship like this. You have very little armor, so you're probably going to lose your engine, rudder, turrets, all these things are probably going to get lost very quickly. So preventive maintenance is useful, as well as priority target and incoming fire alert. These are more because I don't really know what to take for 2 points. And these help you with dodging and knowing when people are going to be shooting at you. They're kind of too powerful for what they do, I think. I think they give you too much information. It makes it too easy to dodge, but they're really nice for a ship with no range. 2 points, Adrenaline Rush, pretty self-explanatory. BFT, because BFT actually impacts your gun DPM. Right, 127mm guns, you get 4.4 second reload instead of 5 second reload, I believe. I take Demo Expert as well to give you a little bit more fire chance. As you can see, I am running IFHE. That's because this lets you pen 26mm of armor, and that lets you get through cruisers at your tier and some tiers above you, and that really helps you win a lot of these cruiser fights that you normally would just struggle to do anything against. And 5.5% fire chance is still okay for taking IFHE. I don't actually know what it would go up to. It would probably go up to somewhere in the 7 or 8% range. But do I actually have both flags? I do have both flags. Okay. Just making sure. And then AFT. This is the big one that's changing. Right? Firing range of main battery guns with a caliber up to and including 139mm, and secondary battery guns plus 20% range. Yeah, so that's going away. So if we pull this commander off to, well, actually I can't because this is still in battle. But if we look at Atlanta without a captain, it's 11.1 kilometers of range. Right? Kind of sad. Kind of sad. I don't know how that's going to work. Like, that last game you saw, like, I don't know. Like, I struggled with 13 kilometers of range. How am I going to do that with 11? It's going to be essentially useless. Because you're just always going to fight tier 9s. I don't think I've played games in my tier 7s where I have fought tier 5s in months. It's got to be months since I've seen tier 5s. Talking about upgrades, propulsion mod, I like to be able to move around in my smokes. We run hydro so that we can see torpedoes coming, and then this helps us dodge the torpedoes in our smokes. Pretty standard, I think. Aiming systems I use here because sometimes the dispersion can make you miss destroyers and key modules like superstructures and that kind of stuff. And the other skills I don't really think are necessary. You don't need faster turrets. You don't really need faster torps, and your AA is basically useless, so you don't need to buff that. So I think that's why I use that. Damage control system. This one, I mean, I guess you could take the engine one, but I actually don't find the engine breaks too much with preventive maintenance. And then main armaments as well. Pretty self-explanatory. That's the Flint. I think the ship's pretty solid. It's a really good tier 7 right now when it's against tier 7. It's one of the worst tier 7s against tier 9 because of its crappy range. It's a little better than Atlanta, but not by much. I don't know. I have no idea why Wargaming is changing the ship. It's really bad in the current meta of playing tier 9s all the time, and they're nerfing it. That's crazy to me. So thanks for watching. It's been my thoughts on the Flint and where it's at right now and where it's going to be. So I hope you guys have a good day.